Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 2 of my favorite 30 guitar players of all time. We've been counting down together, all of us, each and every day here this month. We've got 30 days in the month, our 30 favorite guitar players across all music genres. They're all up for grabs. So many great ones. So hard to pick just 30. We're down to the final 2. I bet some of you, or most of you, think you know my final 2 or think you know the order that they're going to be in. It may surprise you a little bit here. I thought long and hard about this, and I think in more recent years, the one guy has overtaken the other just by a little bit. And it's just a matter of, I don't even know what it comes down to. I just think it comes down to maybe because they both come from my number 1 and number 2 bands, and I think one, I flip flop back and forth between the two. I'll go through like 5 and 10 year periods where I will favor one band over the other, and then it'll switch up, and I think that's kind of been the case here with the 2 guitar players, I think. And I've been listening more to the one guy, and I think he just has more of a lengthy career where I pretty much like or love everything. And the other guy, it's like I like a chunk of it, and then I'm kind of indifferent to the rest. So we'll talk about that in a second here. So let me bring to the stage my pick number 2, my second favorite guitar player of all time. For decades, he was my favorite. Of course, Mr. Ritchie Blackmore. Deep Purple and Rainbow, and Deep Purple again, and Rainbow again, and Blackmore's Night, right? So, of course, Ritchie Blackmore pretty much has been my favorite guitar player since, probably 1980 or so, right? Somebody 80, 81, something like that, right around that time, 79, 80, 81. Ever since I first bought that LP copy of Deepest Purple, I was just blown away by this dude. And then getting Made in Japan and In Rock and Perfect Strangers and, Fireball and all that other stuff, Machine Head, and just and then all the stuff afterwards. Just to me, Ritchie just exemplified everything I love about guitar players. He's exciting. He's plays with a style that encompasses lots of different types of music. There's this element of danger and unpredictability. I like a lot of Strat guys, so that is cool. He's that little bit of classical and blues influence thrown into the hard rock and proto metal, can create great riffs. His solos are amazing, and he never plays the same solo twice. Right. My issue with Blackmore is that he's kind of I'll be the first to tell you, the Blackmore's Night stuff doesn't really do a hell of a lot for me. I like some songs here and there for sure. I think his wife Candace has a great voice, but I find that the music overall doesn't really excite me much. And I find when it comes to Blackmore, I just have been trying to justify that he's my favorite player. But then when I really look at the volume of work, as great as it is, I think my number 1 guy, I just happen to like more. And to me, that just kind of I still love Ritchie to death. He's my number 2. But I think that kind of knocked him down to number 2 for me. Even though the stuff that he appears on, from what I call the classic period is incredible. Right. So, yeah, it's like I said, I don't love him any less. I just think that I appreciate my number 1 a little bit more. So, hey, being number 2 is pretty damn good, I think. Right. So now, as far as picking my 3 favorite albums, this again is fairly difficult. I thought I had my 3 picked until about 10 minutes before I went to record this video this morning. And I had kind of a change of heart, because one of the albums that was in my top 3 is one of my favorite albums of all time. But I don't know necessarily that it's one of my favorite albums of all time just because of Ritchie. His playing is tremendous on it, but it's more of a band really gelling and the singer just putting in one of his great performances ever. And I was kind of thinking, I think there might be another album here that I like more from a guitar standpoint as far as Ritchie's playing is concerned. So I made the tough decision to opt that other one out. I'll talk about it in a second. So of course the first one, and I like to go in chronological order, has got to be In Rock, right? This is a tour de force for Blackmore. This was easy, no-brainer pick for me. Speed King, Bloodsucker, Into the Fire, right, Gil? I mean, the riffs on this album, the smoldering solos, got Child in Time on here, Living Wreck, Hard Loving Man, just Flight of the Rat, just so many amazing, heavy, molten riffs and just screaming solos. This is a landmark album, one of the great proto-metal albums of all time. And this has to be here, right? That's kind of set the stage for everything. Next up, you have to pick Machine Head. You absolutely have to, because it is, even though for me, I truly understand the greatness of Machine Head. I love it. But this is one of those albums that's kind of like Black Sabbath's Paranoid. It's one of the albums that I kind of grew up with and I played a million times. I don't listen to Machine Head all that often anymore, even though I still really love it and understand its greatness. But I've heard most of these songs like a million times, and it's just like, to me, it's lacking in freshness because of that. But you cannot argue that Highway Star and Smoke on the Water and Lazy and Space Truckin', Maybe I'm a Leo, right? Never Before. I mean, all these great songs, just Pictures of Home, killer riffs all throughout this album. That amazing kind of classical meets blues soloing style. Just there's genius on here, right? It's like here is the heavy, rough, and raucous, and here it's more refined and just more a band fully realizing what they're all about, right? Just two amazing albums. So, the other record that was going to be my number 3 here, if we go in chronological order, was going to be Rainbow Rising. And you're probably thinking, Pete, you're crazy. How can you not pick Rainbow Rising? Well, like I said before, Rainbow Rising is amazing. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. From a classic album perspective, it deserves to be here. But remember, I'm trying to pick what I feel are some of Richie's greatest guitar performances on a studio record. And I think the stuff on Rainbow Rising is amazing. But I love Rainbow Rising for lots of reasons. And it's not always just Richie's guitar playing. Whereas, some of this other stuff, the songs are great too. But man, Richie just stands, boom. He's one of the main reasons. For me, Ronnie James Dio's performance on Rainbow Rising is probably the main draw for me. Richie comes number 2. His playing is great. Cozy is right up there as well. This whole ensemble playing from the whole band and the songs. I mean, the Rainbow Rising album is not just an excuse for Richie Blackmore pyrotechnics on the guitar. Sure, there's plenty of them, but they're more about the songs. They're more about the drama. They're more about that voice, right? So for me, I had to kind of pretty much knock that to number 4 in favor of Burn. When I put the two head to head and I really, really thought about it, it's like, yes, Coverdale and Hughes, amazing. First album with the new lineup, amazing. But man, that riff on Burn, that solo on Burn, the soloing on Mistreated, amazing. You Fool No One, Blackmore's on fire there. That riff just totally killer. Sail Away, grinding guitar on there, just so good. Might Just Take Your Life, Lay Down, Stay Down, just good, funky, heavy rock. Kind of, it was hard for me to overlook Burn. Burn was always going to be my number 4. And the more I thought about it, it's just kind of like, yeah, this, I think, from a guitar performance perspective, I think Richie just shines a little bit more on this album. He shines brightly on Rising. So I'm not disrespecting Rising because you all know I love it. But I think Burn is my pick for my final album. So again, those are the 3. So it's In Rock, Machine Head, and Burn. 3 favorite guitar performance. I know some of you are probably saying, how about Perfect Strangers? Yeah, that's up there too. Because I think Richie's soloing and there's even some great riffs on that album. Richie's soloing is absolutely top notch on Perfect Strangers. I would argue that probably his best soloing from the 80s is on that record. I think I like his soloing better there than on any of the Rainbow albums in the 80s. Down to Earth is close. Down to Earth is close. But yeah, I think you look at the soloing from that whole decade, and I think the Perfect Strangers is it. As far as the favorite solo goes, this really is kind of a no-brainer. And then I had to think, well, do I pick the studio version or the live version? I went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think I got to go with the live version. I'm going to go with Child in Time, the extended solo on Made in Japan, as my favorite solo from Richie. It takes the unpredictable, go for the jugular vibe that the studio version from In Rock does, and ups it, just cranks it up a notch. And he does so much just like blazing stuff there. Great use of the whammy bar. Richie doesn't get enough credit for being one of those early whammy bar stranglers, right? Of course, Hendrix did it so amazingly, and then someone had to kind of take up the mantle before Eddie Van Halen came around. I think Richie was doing a fantastic job all throughout the 70s of just extreme whammy bar wrangling, right? But just the explosive solo on Child in Time here. To me, two of the best extended solos on a live album from any of those 70s guitar heroes. I talked about Michael Schenker yesterday with Rock Bottom from Strangers in the Night. Well, Richie Blackmore from Child in Time on Made in Japan is kind of that other one. The two of them kind of, to me, go together. They're just so amazing, so mercurial and Herculean. Just, so good. So, Child in Time from Made in Japan, my favorite solo, and my three favorite guitar performances in the studio album from Richie: Burn, Machine Head, and In Rock, with a very, very close number 4 in Rainbow Rising, right? So anyway, that's my pick for today. Let us know what you think of, as Clint Hughes used to say, "Herr Blackmore," down in the comments below. And let us know what your pick today is for number 2. Who's number 1? I'm sure you all know who it is by now, but we'll celebrate him tomorrow because I think he's just amazing. And all these players are amazing, obviously, but there can only be number 1. So, that's coming tomorrow. We'll see you then. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thank you in advance for all your support there, folks. We also have channel memberships now. It's another way to help out the channel. So see the join button. We'll take you to a page where you can see the options. So thank you all in advance for your support there. It's greatly appreciated, regardless of which means you like to go to. That's all fine and dandy. And we'll see you in just a little bit for ranking the albums of Steve Lukather, the great guitarist, singer, and songwriter from Toto. That's coming up real soon. So don't touch that dial. Also, I'm wearing my Rick Labonte shirt today. Make sure you go check out Rick's brand new video. I've got, if you go to the shorts section of the channel here, you can watch this where I do little minute or less videos. I posted a quick little thing about Rick's new video the other day. There's a link there as well, so go give it a watch. It's a really cool song, filmed in 4K, so go check it out and support Rick's music. And we'll see Rick and his band at Sea Tranquility Fall Fest in December, on December 7th at the Warehouse in Newburgh, New York. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you for number 1 tomorrow. Stay tuned for ranking the albums in just a little bit. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.